to find common ground by collaborating and working towards bringing better technology solutions, innovative products to the world.
Show investors or customer help marketing and commercializing their invention products in the market.
As large gatherings are no longer encouraged, I'm happy to see that MTE has gone virtual. This will allow more innovators to promote their innovation and share their ideas with the world.
It has been nurturing the innovation culture among scientists, researchers, students and startup founders in order for them to transform their ideas into business ventures.
There may come a day in the near future when we have overcome this crisis, but our innovations may be able to assist another country in their fight against the pandemic.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be invited by the organizers, Program Group and UITM to say a few words of encouragement and congratulate all the participants of the Malaysia Technology Expo 2021 Sustainable Development Goals International Innovation Award. SDGs is about making the world a better and safer place for all, leaving no one behind. So I hope you will always innovate with sustainable development as the end goal and contribute towards ending poverty, protecting the planet and ensure that by 2030 all people enjoy peace and prosperity.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us at MTE 2022 Virtual, and we hope you'll enjoy this knowledge sharing session that's coming up. Do check out our full program on this platform.
Good day. Welcome to International Expo on Innovation and Technology, organized by MTE 2022. Today I'm going to talk about TVET, Innovation and Technology, as a new frontiers of Industrial Revolution 4.0. This is a very important topic to be discussed among the members of the university. Because actually, the reason why TVET become a very important agenda for the Institute of Higher Learning, because it's been needed to produce highly skilled technical graduate to fulfill the nation aspiration of highly industrial country by 2020. Universities that belong to the MTUN serve as a platform for the vocational education and training. And this is very important because if you look at the current industries, especially in Malaysia, this is something that we can see that a lot of companies that to be in Malaysia just about a manufacturing base, okay? And this is very important that we as a higher learning institution, the MTUN University, the TVET program has to produce a lot of these, what you call it, graduates or the skilled workers that will be able to transform. And this is a very key word that I want to mention, to transform from the manufacturing-based company into the technology-based company. In order to get these kind of things, right, from the manufacturing to the technology, the most important thing is actually the technology itself. So we have to get a paradigm shift to move out from one product to another product, transformation from the manufacturing to technology, because whenever you have a new product, that product is considered as a new or next value chains or the product that have certain technology to be incorporated with it. Okay, so in order to have this kind of thing, where actually the technology must come from the technologies itself, and that technologies actually is a product from the Hampton University. Okay, because actually if you want to do this, right, we have to create such a very good program in the university itself that has a potential to be one of the program that will be able to produce the highly skilled sets graduates that serve the industries. Okay, let's put this way. Okay, we must make sure that, you know, as technical universities, the most important thing is not about looking at the fundamental aspect of the learning, but then, you know, not only in this kind of what you call it classroom environment. The reason actually we have to do the TVET program to make sure that the program that actually has to make sure the student itself is transformed, the mindset will be able to be hands-on during the process of learning. And this is very critical because the technologies itself should be able to apply, not only people call it, you know, the science of it, not only engineering of it, but then they integrate the science and engineering into the technology. And this is actually very important kind of syllabus or a program that we want to implement, or we are implementing, to ensure this is actually working. All right, because, you know, as what I said, actually in terms of doing this kind of thing, it's very important that we will be able to transform the manufacturing to the technology base. Why actually this is very important? Because for us actually, technology become very important to be a developed countries. To be a developed countries, like Malaysia, you know, we want to be a developed countries. We must have the technology within the country, not actually relying on the technology outside the country, right? You want to be developed country, but then you still rely on the technology outside. So that's not actually a good developed countries, right? So this is the element that actually we must have a kind of very good system that, you know, together with the university and industry work together, engage in the good ecosystem as a partners and also the collaborators. Not to mention about, you know, creating a new curriculum and also the activities, come out with a lot of what actually we call it a market driven, demand driven, you know, all the technology driven. So when actually we go for the TVET, we must be able to cater for whatever actually the needs of the companies. So that means the economy, you know, and the program itself, they are actually work hand in hand. Okay, so also in this kind of thing, to go for this kind of TVET program is not something that actually you have to go for the certain level and then, you know, say let's do TVET. It must be created at a very early stage, right? It's a very early stage that, you know, in order to do this, the awareness, the kind of internalization of the technology has to be, you know, when actually you are in the secondary still, right? So that means they really have this kind of appreciation why actually they want to go there. So this ecosystem is a very, very important. And then, you know, furthermore, when actually you work this kind of TVET with the university, these sort of things, you cannot just simply do for the sake of just, you know, working at the lab and then do all this kind of teaching and learning program. But then, you know, you have to create this kind of project that incubate new ideas, and, you know, the product, the initiative, that sort of thing will be able to give a kind of what you call it, the initiative or the expectation of something that you really want to do it. Okay, that's where actually we develop the innovation. We look at the capacity, you know, looking at the culture, and provide this kind of innovation with a lot of mixed technologies. So that means they become a good product. So this kind of the economy, this kind of the ecosystem, this kind of a closed loop system has to be in place. So that means, you know, you work together hand in hand, and from that actually it can create a very good a kind of what you call it ecosystem to the people. And this is very important. You know, when actually we do this, they're going to give a very strong marketability for the TVET graduates. Right? This is what actually you can see, you know, a lot of these TVET graduates actually will be able to find a good job. In fact, this is what actually happened to be recently when someone from Penang, they said, actually, you know, we need a lot of people that have a technical or technological kind of knowledge, the know-how, these sort of things. Okay, that's what actually we look at it. and this something that actually we can see the program that actually implemented or the program that initiated by the government on this TVET program for the local university that mentioned, specifically when we talk about the 4 universities that actually working on this kind of thing. All right, and this what actually we can see based on the TVET program that we work on the industry demand-driven project, we work on the incubation center, we work on all these kind of things. We can develop a very good research and development, right? That's where actually innovation come, and then we're going to have a good commercialization. And looking at this moving forward, the paradigm shift of this actually we can see, we can realize that in the future, right? What actually we see today will not happen. Will not actually can be seen in the future, because in the future there's a lot of good thing can happen if we actually consistently looking at this kind of TVET program. We look at all these kind of technologies, because as what I said, the transformation going to be something that's significant to be seen by a lot of people outside there. Okay, right? And you can see that in UTM itself, looking at the UTM, we have done a lot of good things, right? When actually we look at the TVET, like we have the smart solution of the ecosystem for farming, we have sustainability of Sungai Melaka on the strategic program, and we have a lot of good things. For example, we look at the PV on the solar system, and a lot of consultation works that actually up to 2-3 million within this year that actually we got based on the actually feedback from the student and also the lecturers using this kind of technologies and TVET program from the university. Okay, and a lot more to mention here. We have like for example reverse engineering. That's part of the TVET. That's part of technologies we're going to do, right? On the battery system, on the electric vehicles, right? Look at the scaffolding testing, precision engineering, and so on. This what actually moving ahead that we have in UTM to work on this kind of thing. All right, and there's a lot of good things that actually has been addressed by the industries to us for this kind of technology to be in place for the nation. In conclusion, in terms of the innovation ecosystem, between university, industry, investors, non-government organization, government is a key to be the stakeholder to drive this kind of the technological solution as part of the program that we say actually, the technical vocational training, that sort of things. So I hope this actually will be a good things for us to think about, right? And then to look how actually we can further enhance and collaborate together, as part of the exhibition in this MTE 2022. So with that, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi and a very good morning. Salam ilmu, keikhlasan, kecemerlangan, UNIMAP 2 dekad, tradisi gemilang, teknologi, transformasi komuniti. All participants and presenters, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin my speech, I would like to share a brief introduction of what UNIMAP can offer as a leading academic TVET institution in the northern region of Malaysia.
In 2002, the Ministry approved the establishment of College University Kejuruteraan Utara Malaysia, KUKUM, the 17th public university in Malaysia. In 2007, KUKUM was rebranded as UNIMAP. UNIMAP offers programs of study leading to the award of diploma, bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees. Following the restructuring of the university in September 2020, UNIMAP now has 6 faculties offering more than 40 programs of study. Faculty of Electrical Engineering Technology, Faculty of Electronic Engineering Technology, Faculty of Mechanical Engineering Technology, Faculty of Chemical Engineering Technology, Faculty of Civil Engineering Technology, Faculty of Applied and Human Sciences. UNIMAP continuously carries out research that brings benefit to all. Nanotechnology research in UNIMAP looks into faster, easier, and more accurate detection of microbiological diseases. The HPV-CC kit has high sensitivity that allows early detection of cervical cancer through saliva. A bus monitoring system developed by the UNIMAP Center of Excellence for Advanced Sensor Technology facilitates efficient monitoring of the movement of university buses for students. Under UNIMAP's social responsibility programs, an alternative energy source kit known as EPS kit has been developed. Each year, UNIMAP produces alumni whose presence is felt the world over, in many parts of the world.
Being graduate from UNIMAP, it really helps me in adapting to the working environment, and it helps me speeding up my learning curve. And I think the best thing about UNIMAP is they don't just teach you, they prepare you.
The soft skills, problem-solving analysis, as well as a lot of hands-on practical that we practice in lab, it will help the graduates to be more confident when they graduated later on.
UNIMAP researchers are globally recognized, evident through the acquisition of numerous international grants.
UNIMAP is my first choice because the programs offered here are focused and they fulfill the expectation of the industry.
Apart from academic and research, which are the university core business, sport, culture and volunteerism are also given due to the attention. It's up to the student to choose which field he or she wants to immerse into.
The success and achievements thus far have placed UNIMAP on the world stage.
The fourth industrial revolution, or IR 4.0, is already upon us. The global economy is being fundamentally transformed as we speak by breakthrough in technology, cutting across the physical, digital, and biological worlds. Emerging technologies such as automation, robotics, artificial intelligence, machine-to-machine, and the Internet of Things are changing the way the world operates, which technologies like AI and automation augmenting our professional life. We are able to make smart choices faster than ever before. Most recently, these technologies have assisted in the global fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. So Malaysia has also been proactive in taking the necessary step moving forward toward Industrial Revolution 4.0 through the development of the National IR 4.0 policy in 2021. Respected guests and presenters, the government emphasized 5 strategies. The enabler under the National IR 4.0 policies. Number 1, which is a specific strategy, is placed under the care of Ministry of Higher Education and Ministry of Human Resources to supply the country manpower towards Industrial Revolution 4.0. So therefore, MOHI and MOHR have developed 2 main strategies, which are number 1, to enhance the capacity of the existing workforce through retraining, skill upgrading programs, and the second one is to ensure the readiness of future talents with the skill to work in an IR 4.0 environment. So I view this strategy must be well coordinated with all the MTE University in Malaysia. So ladies and gentlemen, TVET is a major pillar of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 in Malaysia. The TVET 4.0 framework set a target to produce highly skilled TVET future graduates who support IR 4.0. TVET institutions need to be strengthened through responsive and sustainable governance to meet the development of technology based on IR 4.0. Institutional re-engineering efforts towards IR 4.0 are critical to ensure that TVET institutions are prepared and well equipped with the knowledge and infrastructure that are able to support influential and leading TVET organizations. So UNIMAP, in collaboration with the Ministry of Higher Education, have jointly spearheaded the TVET empowerment agenda based on IR 4.0, which was highlighted in the recent speech by the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Nuraini Ahmad. So the essence of Minister speech is based on the strategy of strengthening the strategic collaboration networks under the main initiative of Majlis TVET Negara, or MTVET, that have been previously approved, such as TVET Collaboration Hub, or TCH, and Government Industry TVET Coordination Body, or GITC. So we at UNIMAP regard this as a key opportunity to be the leading frontier of the National Industrial Zone in paving the way of this agenda. Enhancing the industry network of UNIMAP is an integrated effort to expand the network collaboration with the IR 4.0 industry and strengthen cooperation with government agencies gained towards the industry revolutions. So this is also in line with UNIMAP strategic planning and direction to provide skilled workforce with academic programs that apply the element of IR 4.0. So UNIMAP has provided high-tech and high-value study programs to ensure that TVET programs are the routes of choice. This is also in line with UNIMAP's strategic planning and direction to provide a skilled workforce with academic programs that apply the elements of IR 4.0. So UNIMAP has provided high-tech and high-value studies program to ensure that TVET programs are the route of choice. So this strategy also involves the curriculum structure map with IR 4.0 to cater to the need of the industry, which act as a key stakeholder. So UNIMAP has strengthened the delivery effectiveness mechanism, which an emphasis on the concept of IR 4.0, such as hand in hand with the 21st century pedagogy method. So this approach can also add value to learning delivery methods such as immersive learning and student-centered learning, which are the latest initiative to ensure students are exposed to the latest technology. So to strengthen the IR 4.0 and TVET's agenda, UNIMAP has also created several programs to ensure that the TVET agenda is achieved more effectively. Amongst them is by developing a teaching factory that features for Industrial Revolution 4.0 elements, or better known as the University Revolutionary Teaching Factory. So UNIMAP is also equipped with an industry-based laboratory to ensure that we are on the right track. So at UNIMAP, Competence Center, or UCC, was established which combine URTF and 10 industrial labs such as Cisco Lab, Siemens, and Huawei under one roof in order to achieve all its goals. With the establishment of a UCC, it will also support academic program by offering professional certification to existing students, ensure that prior to graduation that they are well versed and equipped to face the challenge of Industrial 4.0. So respected audience, based on the graduate employability 2.0 data, the total percentage of UNIMAP GE for TVET programs in 2020, the percentage of GE for diploma in engineering is 98.6%, and the Bachelor of Engineering Technology is 91.8%. So this trend is also similar for all the MTON TVET programs. So in UNIMAP, we also have 12 Center of Excellence, or COE, specializing in various disciplines of expertise and industry-based Trust, which serve as a platform for industrial collaboration and has driven the continuity of research related to IR 4.0, which industrial projects. So the latest example of COE, or Center of Excellence for Advanced Sensor Technology, has successfully developed the smart hospital and smart ambulance tracking system, which the Ministry of Health Malaysia and UEM Agenta Mediserve. Since the fourth industrial revolution will have an impact on the TVET education delivery system and services in Malaysia, UNIMAP must also serve as a hub and catalyst for the readiness of the general public to adopt the latest technology by developing a smart community of pioneers. So the IR 4.0 TVET policy ensure that TVET providers in UNIMAP are not only able to maximize the potential of human resources, but also contribute to the increases in skilled workforce that is needed to drive the country economy and competitive age. The delivery of education and training that meets the needs of the industry and includes the enrichment of digital skills, so enables TVET graduates to remain relevant in meeting the employment needs of the nation in the 21st century and IR 4.0. Respected guests, before I end my speech, I would like to highlight that throughout my presentation today was only the efforts of higher institutions, industries, and government bodies in paving the way as frontiers of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. So we must also begin to change the perception that TVET education is a second-class education. Based on the high GE data that I previously mentioned, it is obvious that TVET graduates are highly sought by the industry. Therefore, the change of perception must begin from the student household themselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like also to take this opportunity to thank the organizing team for their tireless commitment and involvement in ensuring the success of this program. Furthermore, a program of this magnitude would not have been made possible without the dedication, support, and concerted effort from committee members, industry, college, academic institution, and supporting organization. On behalf of UNIMAP, my sincere gratitude to everyone for listening to my speech today. I hope to see everyone again in another platform to exchange ideas for the benefit of the academics institution. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good day. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer, University Technical Melaka, UTM, for inviting UMP to present one of the papers relating to the innovation and technology for TVETs. I would like to extend a warm regards from our Vice Chancellor yang berbahagia Datuk Yusri bin Zainuddin. He's not able to come and present for this seminar or webinar. So my name is Muhammad Rosli Hainin. I'm the Deputy Vice Chancellor for the Academics and Internationals. Will represent UMP for this webinar session. Alright, I would like to present some overviews about TVET before we go further. The TVET system in any country has its own particular features depending on their characteristic patterns of historical development with respect to economy, politics, and culture. This system can be seen distinctly whereby market relations tend to dominate UK and US with a tight relation between employers and vet institutions. Germany and France are cooperatives in nature, which is active involvement of employers in training, whereas Japan practices TVET through internal organization of the firms. Employers tend to practice lifetime employment and provide training within their enterprises. Regardless of these features, it is imperative to identify some common preoccupation of strategy towards achieving high skills trajectory, which is the involvement of employers in training. In Malaysia and Singapore, the government plays the key mediating role in TVET system. Regardless of these differences, it is very important to identify some common preoccupation of strategy towards achieving high skills trajectory, which is the involvement of employers in training, and in this the key success of TVET practices in industrialized countries. So the negative story about the TVET, whereby we often hear that the TVET is declining and losing out to general and academic education. We used to hear about the 3D, the dirty, the dangerous works for TVET employers, and also the skills provided by the TVET are less in need due to digitalization and job polarization. But let us look at the positive side of the TVET. The TVET is expanding to higher levels and forms the backbone of a lifelong learning. The skills provided by TVET are essential for continued economic growth and for upholding welfare. The growth of economy is not necessarily achieved merely by the investment in education and training. Other countries also need to be fulfilled. Therefore, there is a need to be very careful about the form of education and training that is being invested in by the government. This requires us to draw general distinctions between general education and TVET, although both need to be very closely linked. In industrialized countries, the governments generate human skills to increase labor productivity so that they can improve the economy. TVET has come to be widely believed to fulfill the skill formation function. However, questions arise as to whether the emergence of TVET benefits the nations that practice it. This is so because the capability of TVET in improving the economy is often discussed and ends up in inconclusive results. Many claim that social rates for return for investment in TVET is lower compared with those investment in general education, mainly because of high cost of its operation. As such, Germany uses parallel training with firms in the effort to reduce the cost of its vocational training. Some believe that TVET in fast-growing industries contributes higher rates of return than TVET in slow-growing industries. Economic reforms and the change of technology have increased people's interest towards TVET. economic conditions and the number of jobs available in various sectors have made their school leavers more willing to receive vocational training in order to gain a more secure living. Recent research regards TVETs as an important element in economic growth. This may be reflected from the inputs of fast-growing countries which have practiced TVET successfully. Why we need TVET innovation? Okay, I list few factors, the reason, the necessary of TVETs to be implemented. First of all, there's a pressure for change. Okay. Secondly, the skill shortages and narrow training base. Third, the technical training institution seems underfunded and disconnected from industries. Fourth one, training curriculum seen as irrelevant and disconnected from the needs of the labor markets. And also the economic crisis followed by the economic reform, regulatory, institutionally, and culturally. High employment, particularly youth and unskilled adults. And lastly, the technological improvement. The dual system practiced by Germany, the dual training system practiced by Germany has become a favored model in many industrial nations. Germany's success in TVET, making 3/4 of its population are vocationally qualified, and it reflects on their productivity. Some suggestions made for TVET innovation. Okay, so we need to have the crossing boundaries between the school, workplace, and also general vocational. Okay, we also need to increase the work-based learning in all VET forms. Okay, we need to reorientate for learning outcomes and competencies. We need to have more flexibility in time and place of learning. Increase the acceptance of the prior learning. In regards with changing TVET systems and institutions, we need to have a more coherent TVET systems integrated within the overall education and training systems. We also need to have a more centralized standard setting, fewer qualifications and broadened profiles. We need to diversify the target groups, including adults. Also, we reflect to the changing socio-economic context. In broader goals, we need to have a social as well as economic. We need to have excels in as well as integration. Also, we need to increase the role of skills intelligence systems. Jobs requiring medium levels, skills starting to decline. So we need to have future developments contested. And lastly, we need to have a digitalization as a key driving force. Some innovation and the future of TVETs towards digitalizations. So digital transformation to TVET delivery, it needs to integrate new skills and competencies into teaching and learning process. We also have to utilize digital technology to make it more accessible, affordable, and individually tailored towards improving quality and labor market relevance. And also, we need to increase the capacity to deliver TVET differently through more combinations of remote and on-site learning opportunities which may take place. So we need to also change the organizational management if we need to do so, whereby the changes to the role of TVET providers within the education and labor market ecosystem and communities will enable increase the ability to create partnerships within the local organizations by creating technology hubs which provide pool resources such as fab labs accessible to business and communities and attract new local investments and research development and opportunities. How TVET handle global change to IR 4.0. As we know, the fourth IR 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution, has set a new momentum to TVET sector. It brings new exciting and solutions in global challenges such as automation of industrializations. This change will produce new jobs that have yet to be invented. As a consequence, skill mismatches will occur despite growing investment in TVETs. This gives challenges to TVET to transform the society for the better. IR 4.0 is powered by artificial intelligence, and it will transform the workplace from task-based characteristics to human-centered characteristics. The convergence of man into machine will reduce the distance between humanities and social sciences, as well as science and technology. This will require more interdisciplinary teaching, research, and innovation in TVET. TVET providers in Malaysia needs to cultivate holistic, entrepreneurial, and balanced graduates to be globally competitive and meet the needs of IR 4.0. All these efforts have been gradually inculcated into TVET practices among MTE universities, including University Malaysia Pahang. Some examples of digitalization of TVET at UMP, whereby at UMP we offering 6 programs of Bachelor of Technology that includes Bachelor of Technology in Electrical and Electronics, Bachelor of Technology in Welding, Bachelor of Technology in Machining, and also Bachelor of Technology in Automotive. So, students are encouraged to apply to UMP for the higher level of TVETs, okay? Regarding the MQA, whereby level 6 and above are required for them to have a higher quality TVET education. And this is an example for the Advanced Manufacturing 4.0 Lab Situation-Based TVET using the virtual reality teaching factory, whereby one day, hopefully, at UMP, we can have such that labs. I think that's all for my presentation for today's webinar. And thanks again for the organizer, UTM, MMU, for inviting UMP to present in this webinar relating for the Malaysian Technology Expo 2022. And hopefully we can meet another time. With that, I conclude with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, good afternoon, or good night for every one of you, wherever you are in this part of the world. Since this is a virtual seminar, and I hope and thank you very much that the organizers for organizing this prestigious Malaysian Technology Expo and also International Innovation for 2022. My name is Wahid. I'm the Naib Chancellor of University Tun Hussein on Malaysia. And with respect to the theme, that's TVET Innovation and Technology as New Frontiers of Industrial Revolution 4.0, I would like to share with you a bit of what we do or what we are doing at UTHM with respect to just shaping of talent for the future. In that respect, I hope that you don't mind sharing with me for another about 20 minutes of your time. Let me give you an example of what we are doing here in UTHM. Our core business in UTHM is, of course, education and training. And our niche area is about sustainable technology and transportation. For the benefit of everyone here, let us take an example of how Airbus is being produced or manufactured. And the first question that I would like to ask everyone is, which country has the highest competence in the production of Airbus parts? So this is a very simple question, because production of airplanes or Airbus is a very precision engineering and technology. You cannot afford to have a single mistake or a small mistake even. And can you imagine that who produced this aircraft? It is produced in 5 or 6 different locations in 6 different countries. Perhaps France, Germany, in the UK, in the US, Spain, and also China. And if not mistaken, in Spain as well. And they produce parts of the whole system differently and then assemble in one part. So my question is, which country has the best workers? Which country has the best competence of them all? Have you got an answer for that? So this is a case study conducted by a few of my friends in Germany that they would like to know and would like to know exactly who is the best in terms of the workers' competence globally. So I will not answer this question right now, but perhaps I would like just to share with you that this is a very pertinent question to us, to every educational and training providers in the world. How can we produce the best workers, the best technologies that is demanded or relevant by the industries? And of course as well, we know every one of us, ever since the inroad of COVID-19 about 2019. Previous to that or prior to that, we have quite a normal business. We do research, we do teaching and learning, we do laboratory work, we do all sorts of works. However, when COVID struck in 2019 and life suddenly changed, activities start to reduce for health reasons, and also education. And university like us, like UTHM, we have got to stop almost everything to a standstill for a while until that we come to a hybrid solution or virtual activities altogether. And now this is 2022 and COVID is still lurking around and we must be very cautious of this. So the question is, what do we do after 2022? Or another question is, how do we address this issue of COVID-19 amidst that? I know that this is the vulnerability that we have, the uncertainty that we have, and of course, the complexity of the problem that we have. So, or VUCA in other words. So, every leaders of training or education must address this issue. We can have a few options. Number one is just to follow the flow. Number two is just stop business, let's close shop. Number three is start to do rethinking and start to reimagine and do the forecasting and what's the best for us to do. So this is the question that I would like to ask you. But before that, everyone also realized that education has been away from training. But quite lately, education and also training is converging. It's converging to a common goals. And therefore, in UTHM, what we believe is that we should do edu-train, or in other words, edu-training. And I think this is the best option that we have, that we do education and training altogether to have the best impact to the learners or the trainees, and what more to the TVET workers now that we have. So, do we need to do rethinking of our business? Of course, the question is, if you take the option 3, yes. But how? I think instead of we are using the same highways, and the chances is that you will be competing with the rest of your competitors. And perhaps you get involved yourself with a head-on collision that may halt or put you into a difficult situation. But what if you create your own way, your own travel path? Will that be easier or more difficult? And this is for you to answer for yourself. But in my view as the Vice Chancellor of UTHM, I think that we should find beyond competition which way that we should be directing our universities and our students altogether with respect to other competitors. However, we must also realize that what really is the type of product that we are developing and offering. UTHM is mandated to produce professionals. UTHM also is mandated to produce good citizens that's based on Tawhidic paradigm. And therefore, the types of products that we are offering, producing, and this may be different from one university to another, that we believe that we must be able to produce students who has the ability to operate in a fully digital environment. And this is important. And the example of how we manufacture what we call the Airbus just now in several different countries demonstrate that we don't do what we did 20 years ago. We have new technologies and we need to have a fully digital environment for our learners and students to be relevant in the future. And secondly is to make sure that we could develop their cognitive skills to ensure that they have the capability of design and also innovation. And it fits well with our theme today that TVET innovation is simply an important aspect that we must not leave out. Thirdly is that we must not leave the social and also emotional skills to ensure the effective collaboration between parties. Example that I gave you just now is that can a Mandarin-speaking worker speak with the French, with the Spain, and also with the Americans? So, and therefore that multilingual is an important aspect of our edu-train or education. And also finally, be able to build adaptability and resilience skills to thrive into this competitive business situation. And I hope that everyone will have got to debate on these 4 items. This is our perspective at UTHM. You may have a different perspective. And in UTHM, we also believe that we must provide a good and also conducive ecosystem when we shape of our product and our offering. Importance to note here is that we must put students, workers at the center. It must involve integration of learning or training institution, industries that put them into working experiences, and also a technology startup. For development of students that can shape the future or relevant for the future, we should have all these domains, that is learning, that is working, and also innovating. Don't lose any of these domains if we were to be part of the future and global world. So I hope that with that explanation, it explains well that why UTHM take a few steps behind and ponder for a while the whole of the university, led by our chairman and all the staff of the university start to ponder what actually is our vision, mission, and objective of the universities. And with respect to that, we have come to a conclusion that we should be a global technopreneur university by 2030. However, important to note here that we cannot simply jump into that 2030 without having to go through 2025 and so on. And 2025 is for us to have what we call digital TVET transformation. So that is our strategic plan for the future. And I guess that EduTrain is here to stay at UTHM, because EduTrain would ensure that our students is capable of the cognitive element that they need, the competence that they should have, and also the resilience and also the adaptability that they have through the basis and foundation of Tawhidic paradigm. And I hope that by putting this together in 4 strands of activity or framework, that is, number 1 is EduTrain, number 2 is Technopreneur, number 3 is Prihatin or caring, and also good governance. And I hope that by having this, that we will be able to produce what we intend, or the products that will have the capability of a competence workforce, professionals, and also, of course, having the technopreneurship in their activities, or at least technopreneur in their thinking and also in their hearts. So I guess, in simple terms, what we do is by making sure that EduTrain really function well at UTHM. So between us and industries, we should not put unnecessary barriers between us. That's why that we are putting all efforts to make sure that innovation persists. I'm giving you an example that we have what we call student attached into the industries in a program called RECEIVE. And this is research experiences that they should have, of course, mentored by the industries and also lectures, which at the end of the day will resolve or will solve at least a small or problems of the industries of the community. So this is part of our mission. And also, we don't also leave out what we call solving problem with the community. The term that we use is UTHM Solve, S-O-L-V-E. We are giving an open experience for the students to break the barriers between they themselves and also the community, to make sure that they can deliver and they can perform and they can help the societies at large. Important is that making sure that we have the 4 attributes that I mentioned earlier on in an example of Airbus production that I mentioned earlier. Perhaps I would like to recap that who is the best worker among the Airbus workers globally, as I've asked the first question just now. So I will not again answer this question, because I would like Malaysian to be the best of them all. And I wish that we could compete to make sure that our generation of workers into the future will be the workers that will not leave innovation behind and will continue on to improve themselves and compete globally. So with that, I would like to say thank you very much, and I hope that UTHM and also MTE will push on with the idea and also objective of making sure that innovation technology will support the economic development of the country. So thank you, MTE, and thank you, the organizers, and see you again next year in MTE 2023. Thank you very much.
you.